All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and New Year's holiday. So sweet to see all of your faces. I see those Zoom boxes popping up. So I am going to give everyone just a couple of minutes to jump on the call, get connected to audio. So let me open my chat here. You know the drill. Typically, we ask, where are you joining us from? But I'm going to change it up today. And I'm going to ask, where were you for Christmas and what was the weather like? We were talking about that a little bit with our team. We had some people in Santa Barbara, in Georgia, in England for the holidays, and we had anywhere from, cold, snowy to rainy and flooding. So I want to check that chat. Did anyone happen to have, some hot 80-degree weather? I think Georgia, Bridget mentioned Georgia was pretty hot. So let's see. Let me get my chat open here. Okay. Warm 48 degrees in West Michigan. No snow. Okay. Uh, Oklahoma. Temperature on Christmas was in the 70s. That is my ideal, Lisa. I see Paul was in Virginia, had some nice weather. I see some Florida. Oh, Lake Tahoe and had a white Christmas. That sounds so wonderful, Connie. Okay, Wisconsin, Indiana, I see cold and snow. Pennsylvania. Florida, I see the consensus is it was warm there. All right. Well, I will again just give everyone another minute more just to jump on the call, get settled in. This is meant to be more of a family living room environment on this call. So definitely get comfortable, have your tea handy. I have my water bottle. My goal for this New Year's drinking more water. So I have a bottle that tells me when to drink on the hour. It's really helpful. Alrighty. Well, I think I have stalled just enough, so I will go ahead and get us started. So, first of all, welcome to the monthly Catalyst call. This is the place where we meet as a community and we just take time to really talk about three main things. So, the first thing is just chatting through, what are we learning collectively as a movement? And that is where you'll have a chance to hear from Graham and Dion, just getting us up to speed and it's really beautiful when we, as a community, are learning the same thing, speaking the same language, and really going on that journey with the Lord. So then the second thing that we cover on this call is, what is happening? What's going on? What events are coming up? So a little later today, you'll hear about one of our upcoming in-person events. You're not going to want to miss that. And then third, we also talk about, we have, newer community members coming and joining us. So how do I fit into the movement? Where do I go for different things? And, what does that look like? So really, this is the place to get reoriented, to connect as a community. And so I will go ahead and just open us up with some prayer, and then I'll hand it over and we'll get started. So, Lord, thank you so much just for this time together, for the chance to just meet and learn what's on your heart. And just thank you for the way you walk with us and so much gentleness and faithfulness. Yeah, you are the faithful one. That's the word that's coming to mind. And so we just look forward to what we're going to learn together this year, the journey that we're going to go on with you. Lord, that is a journey that is so worthwhile. And we adore your friendship. We adore just getting to speak with you and learn with you. And so, Lord, we just pray for this call tonight that there would be a sense of family and community, and that our hearts and ears would just be so open to what it is that you are sharing with us. We love you, God. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, well, with that, I will go ahead and hand it over to Bridget, and she's going to open us up.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas celebrating. And we are excited to kick off the new year with our Brilliant Circles. So without saying any more, I'm going to first start with a video, which says so much about what's been happening in our Brilliant Circles. So let's go to the video for now.
Boom, reset. Oh, wow. Lord, what are you doing here? And it just brings us up. It's been an incredible year.
There's nothing that's impossible.
Just brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's just inspiring to watch these people and to be able to be part of this thing.
It's just been an amazing global family network that gives us so much flexibility and creativity.
I have grown more than any time ever in my life.
It's just a beautiful heart-to-heart connection.
The things I hear now reduce me to tears. They're so beautiful.
It's transformational. Oh, our circles have been so transformational.
Brilliant Circles, it helps keep it activated constantly. Like the questions are making it personal for you and how you use that in your life.
People are honest and we learn from one another.
You can't do this on your own. We've really benefited from having different people at different times coming in.
It's literally transformational. Goodness upon goodness upon goodness.
Every week, something amazing happens.
We're just so delighted to be together, and every single one of our meetings, every single one is just dynamic. He's just that powerful. He's that real, you know?
Your breakthroughs come when you think like they think and you see what they see. That's breakthroughs.
You can just see people changing, and you just see people like this kind of like wide-eyed amazement at the goodness of God and what he's doing.
Even though you might not think you can do something, there's endless possibilities because it's not you anyway. It's the three in me.
Wow, there was so much goodness with the Lord when we started, and now there's even more. We're just swimming in goodness.
But we're growing together. It's amazing.
The level of safety in the group is extraordinary.
It's a safe and loving place to be.
Just a blessing. Just a blessing.
This is powerful. In the kingdom, our relationships like this, we go places. We change into a new person every couple months.
I cannot explain or just describe how wonderful this whole journey has been.
The relationships that we have in Brilliant are just whole nother level, you know?
And we're just so grateful. We're just so grateful.
I've been so grateful that I've had the support of Brilliant, because it's been a brilliant year and we've just had so many amazing people coming into our life.
Everyone has grown immensely.
Everyone loves on everyone.
I have never had friends like I have in Brilliant.
The circle is a lifeline for my members, and as Brilliant has been a lifeline for me.
My worst days are turning out to be my best days, because when I give him everything, even my negativity, and if I'm feeling a bit ugh or whatever, and I just come to him, he just turns it around. I don't know how he does it.
You're beholding something that is beautiful and majestic.
We are really getting it. Like, the questions are beginning to open up in a new way. We're like up here, and then we're up here, and then we're up here. And it's just like this continual growth.
The relationship that me and Papa have right now, it's just, and it's going to get quicker and better.
It's just so exciting. So thank you so much, Brilliant, for this incredible opportunity.
And thank you all as well. We so love these calls. They are our lifeline, and also the teaching is amazing. The material is so good.
I just love watching other people minister to each other.
It has been a pleasure to be a facilitator. Thank you.
I love being a facilitator.
We've walked with each other through lots of different things.
We've had breakthroughs in marriages, breakthroughs, I mean, like amazing.
It's just absolutely amazing. He's amazing. Circles are amazing.
So thank you and blessings from our hearts for all of you as well, for your obedience and for the love.
Appreciate the opportunity.
It's such a privilege and honor. Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget, and all the leadership.
It's just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Start again right here. Like, why wait? Just like this second right here. There's no postponing the kingdom. The kingdom is here, right?
Wow. Well, I can't say much more than that. I get emotional every time I see it. It's just lovely to see how people have grown, how they've moved. And I promise I'll never pay them to say that. That is literally out of their heart. So those are mostly the facilitators that oversee the groups. And so this is the time of year where we are launching all the groups again. And the groups are really open year round, but at the beginning of January, we have a new launch where at the beginning of the year, people like to jump in again. And so what is a circle? A circle is a group that have got together from anywhere around the country, around the world actually, where they are studying one of our curriculum. We have 5 curriculum that has been designed from one of Graham's teachings from the app. And Cindy has been primarily designing that, but she's had the help of Dion and Teresa. It's been a group effort of the team, but mostly spearheaded by Cindy. She's done an amazing job with the curriculum. We have Fruit of the Spirit, we have the Nature of God, several others that we can't go into. I don't want to go through all of them, but there are 5 different curriculum. And you may feel like you've heard it before and you've listened to it, but doing it in a circle really makes a big difference when you're going together. You know, the statistic is that if you study something on your own, or if you do something on your own, you're likely to move about 10%. If you do it with other people, the chances goes right up to 50 to 65% when there's accountability and you're doing something together. And that's what the circles are all about. It's doing something together with the same goal, with people that understand you and get you. There's deep fellowship, as you heard from the ladies and all the different people there. There's relationships that have been developed in these circles that they've never had before in any other environment. And that is because they really are doing something together with the same goal. You know, I recently, during COVID, I worked at a hospital and we have quite a diverse culture here. And people would come to the desk asking where to go, but they couldn't speak English. They would just come and say no English. And then I'd figure out what language they spoke. And because we had such diverse culture, we had different translators. And I'd call the translator and they'd come to the desk and they'd talk. And as soon as they started speaking the same language, the patient or the person that had come in, the entire face lit up and there was such a oneness with that person, although they'd never met before, because they spoke the same language, they had that joint understanding. And that is exactly what happens in these brilliant circles. You finally get people that understand your new nature. They're celebrating your new nature. They understand your language and they understand where you're trying to go. And they're there to be on the journey with you. And so that is why we've seen the results that we've seen is that people are moving in the same direction. And this isn't about building this around ourselves. It's about moving you to the place where the Father has for you and strengthening you in your new nature so that you can go the next step in your relationship with the Lord. And so we tell our facilitators, you're there to facilitate. And then when the people connect with the Lord, we get out the way and we leave that beautiful encounter with the members and their relationship with the Father. And so that's what happens in the groups where you really don't need anybody else to judge you. If you're new to the law, if you're new to Brilliant, if you've just new Christian, this is for everybody because we're all in the same goal, in the same journey. Whether you've been a Christian for 50 years or you're just new to the movement, you are going to be welcome and love every moment of this. So what you do is you're going to click on the link and the team are going to drop the link in the chat. You click on the link and then you find a day and time of the week that works for you. And so you may join a group that you may be living in California, but you may join a group that's actually operating out of New York. And when you get in that group, you may actually have people from different countries and all over the States. So it's really amazing to see the oneness that happens, even though you're coming from different places. So we work according to time and day of the week. And then on the group, the link of the Brilliant Circle, you'll actually find what curriculum they're studying. So you can figure out which one you'd like to join in. And then you click on the link and that will send an email to the facilitator and the facilitator will get in touch with you and answer any questions you have. And then they'll give you the link to the Zoom call. And for the rest of January, some of the groups are just using the time to get to know new members. And so even if you join, you may find that that's not actually the right time for you, or you'd rather do a different curriculum. So the next couple of weeks is what we call our meet and greet week. So you can have an opportunity to meet the different facilitators and then commit to what you want to study. And then it'll go from there. And I can assure you are going to make new friends. You're going to grow in your relationship with the Lord. And this will be a time of really growth in your fellowship with other people. And you may think this can never happen on Zoom. How can that happen through a computer? But I can guarantee you it really does. And as you've seen from those people, they've developed relationships. They've prayed through issues together. They've celebrated, great testimonies together. And so each group runs about 60 to 90 minutes. The curriculum is about 60 minutes with very guided questions, and the facilitator is really facilitating what the Lord is doing in the moment at that group, at that circle. So it's not going to be counseling, it's not going to be therapy or any of that. It's really just going to be facilitating what is on the Father's heart for that part of the curriculum that week. And then after that, there's time of prayer and fellowship. And so the longest is about 90 minutes, but 60 to 90 minutes is what you can expect. And they literally run from the morning, afternoon, evening, and 7 days a week. I believe we have a circle every day of the week, almost every time zone. So I'm pretty sure you'll find something. And if you have any questions, please let us know. You can send questions to Rebecca at BrilliantPerspectives.com. She's our concierge desk, and she'll help you find a circle, or if you're having any technology problems, she'll be happy to help you. And we hope that you'll be part of the testimonies the next time we're showing this video. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions right now, you can drop them in the chat. I'll be looking for that. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to hand it over to Dion.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. Man, that video just gets me every time, You guys are lucky because you got the short version. When we saw the whole long version, you'd just be like a pile of tears at the end of it. I think what's so surprising about that video for me is just the real relationships that were formed. And, when we started this 2 years ago, we were like, can we even do this? Will it work having a relationship on Zoom? Now, there are some hybrid meetings. There are some people who do meet in person, but mostly there are Zoom meetings. But what's amazing, sometimes people are saying, well, that time zone works, and they find out they're on with people from several different states or even several different countries. Bridget, I don't know if you mentioned, but I think we have over 60 groups available.
Yes,
right?
we have about 60 group circles at the moment, and they're literally over the world. We have several in New Zealand, Australia, and several in England, which I know Graham's very glad to have some people back in England. And excitedly enough, several of them are actually coming to our in-person event in February because they've been building relationships for so long online. But we do have it, and I think we have it in almost every state. So we are well covered. There'll definitely be something for everybody.
Yeah. So it took a mindset shift when we first started, because I think most of us think of, cell groups or home cells or whatever you grew up with as something that's in my area, something I can just drive to. But when you're suddenly on Zoom, you realize you can go anywhere. You can join the one, in Australia, if you like, if the time works for you. So go and find what works for you and find the curriculum. The facilitators are amazing. So huge thank you to the facilitators. Now, if you'd like to be a facilitator, you're welcome to let us know if you're interested in doing that. It's a very straightforward. There is monthly training we give our facilitators, but we really appreciate what you guys do. And when you see the fruit of it, you go, yep, that's why we do this, And as a team, we watched that video and we all looked at each other and said, that's why we do this. Once a year or twice a year, our team gets together and we do all our internal reviews and what are we doing, what's working. It's quite a process. And Brilliant Circles is always voted as the number one thing we do that we see transformation. If you want to see people move, a lot of people learn stuff and you do Bible studies and all that. And 6 years later of that nothing much has happened. It's just, more stuff. But in the kingdom, it doesn't matter what you know. It only matters who you're becoming and how you're learning to and practicing your oneness with the Lord. And that's the thing we love about the curriculum at Brilliant Circles. It starts in God's heart and then works towards your heart. It doesn't start with, you must remember this and 5 steps to that and all that It doesn't start with you. You're not the initiator in this relationship. You're the first responder. And so when people discover that freedom in Jesus, there's just pure joy in the whole thing. People relax with the Lord, like the scripture says, and now we have peace with God. So we are seeing that joy and the peace in believing, as the Bible calls it. And for seeing that in people's lives has been so massive for us, as a team, seeing real people have real transformation and seeing them genuinely move. And that's why we came up with the saying that we're a kingdom movement for people who want to move. It's not just about knowing stuff. It's not just learning more stuff. It's not about head learning. It's about heart learning. And in a minute, Graham and I are going to get into a little about that. We're going to talk about the difference between head and heart learning. And but just before we do, I'm quite sure by now you've heard a great deal about the in-person event, our first one in 9 years. How many of you have already signed up for Vision 26? Why don't you drop in the chat? Say, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. Let's see the chat blow up a little bit. There we go. I'm in. Can't wait. Yes, I'm in. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. Fantastic. Okay. Yep. So good to, yeah, that's going to be amazing. We were all looking at each other, these little squares, on the screen. Now we actually be able to hug that square. So it'll be fun. It's going to be fun. If you want to know what is Vision 26, Vision 26, just to give you the quick details, perhaps you missed it. Maybe you had a busy December and missed all these announcements from us. But so February 19th to 21st, it's here in Atlanta, in Alpharetta, Georgia. It's a very lovely area. We're at a beautiful facility. There are two hotels directly across the road. So they're right there, 1 minute, 2 minute walking distance. But those are only holding reservations for this event until January the 19th. So if you're thinking about this, if you register after that, you're more than likely, there's a lot of hotels in the area, but you probably need a car or catch an Uber. So if you're looking for just being able to have the convenience of walking over, January the 19th would be your last day. We've literally got 2 more weeks to do that. It's $167 and lunches are provided. And we're just looking forward to all these times where we can just hang out and share. And in the next few days, we're going to start sharing with you all the things that are going to be happening at Vision 26. Where is the Lord taking Brilliant? Over the next few years, where are we going? What's happening? We're also going to be sharing some new things. We're going to be making some new announcements, sharing some new technology. We're also going to be having amazing encounter times with the Lord. And live worship on the Friday night, and an encounter time with the Lord. And we're going to do something, an immersion event that night, that if you haven't experienced that, we did little baby versions of that before because we were so limited on time. Here on these Catalyst calls, we've done a few of them. But this will literally take you straight from connecting with God's heart and leaving with clear understanding of what's next for you. That sounds good to you. Then you're going to love this. And that's just one evening I talked about. So it's going to be fantastic. We're really looking forward to it. The team will drop a link for you to register. And so over the next few days, you'll see a lot of things coming out from the team. Again, we're excited because people are coming from all over the world to this event. For those who are traveling from Australia, New Zealand, the UK, it's amazing. Thank you so much for your commitment. And we're excited. We're excited to meet everyone in person. This is going to be fun. So if you love the movement, if you love what we do here at Brilliant, you are absolutely going to love the people you meet there. They're your tribe. They're your peeps. All right, let's jump into it. Graham, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing great. Thank you. Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
What a great time. Great.
How do you like that video?
Sorry?
How did you like that video?
I loved it. I wanted to be on it.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy those Brilliant Circles. They got a speaker there you might recognize on the videos. Yeah. Hey, I've heard that guy before. It's like the voice in my head. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. Apologies.
I know we have a lot of fun, and we love these Catalyst calls because they're more family related. They really relax. We just want to hang out and chat. So we've talked a little bit about what's happening at Brilliant, launch of Brilliant Circles. We got obviously the Vision event. But what I want to talk a little bit about tonight is what are we learning? And you know what's amazing is between the circles, the Brilliant School of Leadership, and other interactions we have with the community, it's always exciting when somebody discovers that catalyst event for themselves, that one thing that just propels them into God's heart. You know, that, oh my, it's like a catalyst, just makes the whole thing go quicker. You know, and it's not just an accelerator, but it really puts you in a different place. You know, it creates something new. It's the two become one.
Yeah.
And so I think last December, we talked a lot about learning about oneness.
Oneness, yeah.
And but for me, I think one of the big catalyst things for me was the difference between head learning and heart learning.
Right.
I think a lot of people do the head learning thing. What does that mean to you, Graham? And you know, what's the difference in when you think about head versus heart learning?
I don't think about that anymore, to be honest, because I love what's going on in my heart. I love learning with my heart. You know, I don't really, I only use my head for thinking about what do I need to buy from the store and stuff like that. But no kidding. But for me, I spend most of my time thinking with God in my heart, you know, just communing. Because with the heart, man believes. And so if you get into a conversation with God and it's only in your head, you know, it's going to do battle with other things that are trying to come in or whatever. And so for me, my heart is the safest place on earth.
Yeah.
You know, one with God. So I love to spend time with God. I love to sit and think with him. I love to chat, you know. Sometimes I just love to sit there and say, Lord, I really love you. I really thank you so much for what you've done in my life. Or sometimes he wants to talk about remembrances. I like that. Graham, do you remember when we were in Africa and that lion came up? And I was thinking, yeah, I've actually stopped being nervous about that now. But the thing I learned was there was a bigger lion standing next to me.
Hmm.
That's what he said to me. Graham, there's a bigger lion standing next to you. And that just took, I wanted to go up and stroke it then. But I love reminiscing with the Lord. I love, because it's a heart thing. You know, when you meet, you haven't seen someone for a while, or a school friend, remember when we did this and that crazy thing, reminiscing. I love that whole thing of just talking through, you know, where I've been, where I've come from, where I am now, you know, and for me, that's a key part of my Thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord. And sometimes you said, remember when you were at that event and, and you prophesied over someone who's called Tony and you didn't realize their name was Toni, and she was a good-looking girl. You know, and I was doing this guy thing. And I remember the Lord just like bursting out laughing. Graham, that was so funny. And I went to meet her afterwards and said, I am so sorry. But here, private word, get your phone out. And I did the job properly. But only when I'd finished, the Lord said, you didn't know she was a girl, right?
Not a guy. Dear.
So we all have our stories, though, we've got.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing I love about it is he's so beautifully gracious and kind and joyful, and he smiles a lot, you know, and I love that there's an ease in the grace around God.
Yeah.
I love
You know
that.
what? It's interesting when we use the word heart. A lot of people think that you're talking about your emotions because that's the way the world refers to the heart. Oh, well, just, you know, do it from the heart, meaning do what feels good or whatever. We're not talking about emotions. We're talking about the inner person, your inner being, you know, your spirit man, your soul. So there's an inner you, the eternal you that's one with the Lord. And that's what we're talking about, that inner you has a capacity to learn. And then the brain, the stuff that's helpful for, as you said, going shopping, It's helpful it's helpful doing your job and
Right.
functioning in this world, but your spirit man is designed to function in his world, in the kingdom, in the upstairs. So you have these natural abilities to learn. So, for instance, that's how revelation comes. We don't learn revelation; we receive it, right? So revelation is received, and the ability to believe the Lord. That doesn't come from the head coming to a logical conclusion that this is probably right, therefore I should probably believe it. That's backward, right? So what we're doing is Jesus talked to the Pharisees and said, guys, how come you receive these others and you believe them, but you don't receive me and you do not believe the Father sent me? And he made it sound like such a simple thing that a child can do it, receiving and believing. So those are the three big faculties, the three big internal spirit faculties we have is we can receive from God. It's how you receive Christ, by the way. That's how you were born again. You didn't think it through and say, oh, logically, I think Jesus is the way. You received him, you believed on his name, and then relate. The ability to relate to God from your inner being is a function of your spirit. It's not just a function of your emotions or your mind. They're involved, but they're playing a different role. So for me, the big breakthrough, Graham, came when I realized that when I receive the Lord, it's like when I make everything relational. That's why we use the term relational engagement. Then I'm doing heart learning, because when you relationally engage, then you can learn from him. Take my yoke and learn from me. So Jesus loves that back and forth, and here's the fascinating thing. When I learn from my inner being, from my soul, from my heart, then my mind is renewed. I don't, and I was talking to somebody a few days ago, and he was saying, well, I'm trying to do the renewing my mind thing. And I said, do you think that means that if you change your thinking, you change your life? He said, isn't that what it says? I said, no. When you engage the Lord, your mind is automatically renewed because you engage the mind of Jesus. You don't just engage his heart. So your mind changes, and your mind, what I think of it like this. My mind is saying, oh, we believe that. Oh, well, then I know what to do. But a lot of people are asking their mind what they should believe, and that will always end up in a very small space. And I found, because I talk to a lot of intellectuals, that often they end up in a very small space because what they're doing is they're trying to get there through the mind. And so that always ends up in a very, very tiny invitation. So I love receiving, because you can receive from God a revelation and take 20 years to figure it out with the mind part, but you got it. You got it instantly, instant download from heaven.
Yeah. And I love the connection that, we learn from the heart, because that becomes our place of trust. It's like, when I got saved, they just said, God is going to give you faith to get saved. Okay. So then I believed that God would give me faith. And then they said, now what happens now that you're saved, like 3 months later, now you have to learn to trust. Now, everything is always about faith. It's mostly about trust. Relational learning is mostly about saying, Lord, I trust you. Thank you that you find out things about him, about his nature, what he's like, how joyful he is. And it's like, when we had our first child, you talk in a way, you find the voice that touches their heart, and you talk to them in that voice, and you tickle them, and you make them laugh, and you do the joyful thing, and it's the same way that we build a relationship with God. He wants to introduce us to his grace, his kindness, his goodness. Graham, this is what I'm like all the time. I remember saying to him, how can you put up with me? He just laughed and said, Graham, you're not much of a challenge, really. But this is what I'm like all the time. And when he said that, it's like, I cried. I just said, oh, but nobody's like that all the time. He said, well, actually, Graham, nobody's like me. but I'm going to make you like me. Not make you like me. I'm going to make you like me. And that's the joy of the journey, is that God is making us in his image and his likeness. That's what we're learning, what God is like and how we can be with him. And that learning never ends. It just keeps blowing up. It keeps building, it keeps growing. And you come to that place where you're totally peaceful and safe, and you know who God is and what he's like.
I think for me, when I realized that learning starts in God's heart, not in my mind,
right,
that was a huge shift. Because like he says, you were saying, I'm going to show you what I'm like. And because it's relational, and I discover, for instance, anything about him, his patience, his goodness, then I'm discovering something about who he is. And that's what causes the transformation. Because I realize as he is, so am I. We share the same nature. Jesus and I are one.
Yeah.
And so all I'm learning is now I'm learning how to walk and practice that new nature. So I love that God starts us in his heart. And he says, this is how I am. It starts with who he is, not with who we're not. And I think so many of us have had so much training around the religion teaching us who we're not, and therefore all the stuff we have to remember and the steps we have to take, and you must this, and you must this, and you must this. That's one of the little red flags we have at Brilliant. When we're working on curriculum or something, if everything starts with you must this, you, you go, hang on a second. He's the initiator.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the curriculum in the Brilliant Circles as well, is everything starts in God's heart. What is he like? Who is he? How does he see this? Oh, then I can see it that way. And your mind changes. You start to think like he thinks. Your ways become his ways.
Yeah.
So when he said, my ways are not your ways, I don't think he meant for it to stay that way.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think too, one of my favorite passages to read is John 17, especially when Jesus is praying, in the garden. And he's coming to a place where when he goes out the garden, he's going to get arrested. And then he's right into the end game, going to get, savagely beaten, put on the cross, go to hell. So this is a pristine moment for him when he's going through all the things that, that's going to happen because of it. And the one that keeps cropping up the most is that you would love them as you love me. So he knew what the love of the Father was. And that's the thing he most wants, to die for. That I want you to know him like I know him, that you would love them as you love me. And that to me is a cornerstone of the gospel. Having a bad day, being followed around by the spirit of stupid, God will love you as he loves Jesus. Why do you think he put Jesus into you? It means everything to God that we are in Jesus and he is in us. It means everything to him because he adores Jesus in you and you are so included. Christ in you means that you're in fellowship, you're one with God, literally one with God. And that's what he's training us. But I remember when early in my Christian walk, I was saying I wasn't doing very well. And I said, Lord, how on earth can you put up with me? I keep failing this lesson. And he said, Graham, you and I are one. I don't feel one. And he just laughed. Sometimes I think most of God's joy comes from laughing at me. I'm pretty sure of that. But Graham, you and I are one. And then a few months later, we were in the same conversation. And he just said, Graham, you and I, this is my dream, that you and I would be one. This is my dream for you. So I'm having a good time. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have a good time then. So And it's just the way how he speaks into your heart changes the way you think. And in that moment, I had a total mind shift, a total mind change. And I realized he loves me like he loves Jesus. And when we were chatting that day, he said, Graham, I want you in my life. And I go, really? Really? It's like, oh, God can't lie, so that must be true. That's where I was. And he said, Graham, I want you in my life. Why do you think my son paid this horrendous price?
Yeah.
We want you in our life forever, forever, So when you start there, I am so wanted by the Lord. He loves me. He likes me. He's for me in everything. All of those things, that's what some people say we overuse the word beautiful. I don't think that's possible, to be honest, when we're talking about the Lord. Everything he does is beautiful. Everything.
Yeah.
So.
And he's totally committed to increasing beauty in our lives.
Right.
Experience his goodness and his beauty. And I love that he's not only sort of gets us into the relationship, but then he's in it with us. The Lord is in your circumstances with you. And I think a lot of people maybe have the idea that if these external bad things happen to me, it's because, quote, God allowed them, or because he's in control. He put us in control of the world. He's in control of heaven and of the kingdom for sure. And ultimately, his will be done. But he put us in control of the earth. I'm quite sure we can tell that's true. Just look around. I don't think it takes a lot of convincing, right? So you look at that and you say, well, okay, then, he can't violate himself and go against the free will he gave us.
Right.
And because of the nature of how he wants the oneness to work, what you were just saying there for a minute, he wants it to be two free people together, choosing one another, right? It's not an arranged marriage. So, what the Lord is doing is he's wanting you to be there in complete freedom. So I was thinking a bit about this, that it is for freedom Christ set you free. What a beautiful phrase. It is for freedom Christ set you free. So the Lord looks at you and says, now that you're free, you and I can enjoy a level of oneness that's really beautiful and deep and fulfilling. You're not having to earn that oneness. It wasn't that God sovereignly chose you and had no choice. There's has to come from two free will beings. And when, of course, you put up, several billion free will beings on a planet, they're going to run into each other. There's going to be chaos and problems and pain and difficulties. And the Lord says, even in that, I'm still with you.
Right.
You will have trouble, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. So we're happy because we're walking with the overcomer, because we're one with the overcomer. This it settles our hearts. It puts us in a place of rest, and it puts us in a place of peace with him. And I think that is a wonderful place to learn from. Back to the heart. For the heart to learn, it has to learn from the foundation of rest, And I know we quote Matthew 11:28 all the time, because it's the foundation of this kind of learning, right? Come to me, all you are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke, my partnership, my oneness, and learn from me. And I love that he says, I'm gentle and I'm humble. And then he says, and you will find rest for your soul.
You will find rest. Yeah.
So
I love that.
He starts it with rest. He wraps it with rest. Rest is the whole thing. You say, what's the big deal about rest? So what is rest? It's that the inner world is quiet. It's not that noisy chaos, never feeling enough. Oh, I missed that. I didn't do that. I forgot there. I'm overwhelmed. I'm this. That's really bad. I'm suffering in my circumstances. We do suffer in life. Stuff does happen. But because we're walking with the Lord, our inner world is at rest, even if our outer world's in chaos. And I
Yeah.
think that is the unique thing about a kingdom person. We walk in the kingdom even when sometimes everything downstairs is not restful, it's chaos, there's nothing peaceful, and yet we're at peace in the midst of it all. And I love that. To me, that's you don't have to wait for ideal circumstances so that you can be with the Lord. You don't have to wait for ideal great circumstances so that you can learn from him. He sets you up in rest, so now you're in a permanent relationship, in a permanent mode of learning from him.
Yeah.
Man, it just keeps getting better.
I love that the fruit of the Spirit is so powerful in our learning, because we can learn with joy, we can learn with peace, we can learn through patience, and God is always giving us his nature, everything he says, everything he does, every way he's with us. He's totally saying, but this is what I'm like. He's giving you his nature, teaching you, the peace of God that passes all understanding. The joy of the Lord that is your strength. Jesus shouting out, my joy will be in you. John 15:11. I give you my joy. It's a gift. You can't earn a gift, but you do get to learn it. And learning joy is 100 times bigger than learning to be happy. It's just because we're talking about a kingdom reality. The kingdom could swallow the world. It's so huge, but we are kingdom people. We're in the world, but we're not of it. So I don't feel I'm subject to anything in the world as long as I'm walking with God properly, then we're learning how to walk with people around us, even difficult people. God blesses us with difficult people on days. Why? Because it's just his way of saying nothing they are saying or doing can affect you, but everything that we say and do will affect them. So then you learn that I'm not worried, I'm not fearful, I'm excited, and someone who's had over 50,000 letters of hate mail, I've learned how to respond to people. Now it makes me laugh. Now the Lord says, hey, don't bother reading it. This is what I want you to write back to them, though. Thank you for your letter. I was talking to the Lord about you, and he said 4 things he likes about you. There was nothing likable in that letter. But that's not the issue. The issue is you wrote to me, now you're going to get it. You're going to get the goodness of God because, that's it. That's what we do. Nothing frightens us. Nothing worries us.
Yeah,
because
I
we're
love
kingdom
that.
people. We're in the world. We're not of it. We
Yeah.
are kingdom people
Yeah.
on earth as it is in heaven. We are learning down here how we're going to be up there.
Yeah, we're practicing for heaven.
We're practicing for heaven. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to get there and go, hang on, this is all new. I've never seen all this before.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun getting there and go, hang on, I know that. I recognize that. Oh, I get that. Yeah, that's going to be so much fun. I was thinking, what are we free from? We're free from the world, we're free from sin and so forth. And something just struck me, you can't kill something that's already dead. Your old nature died with Christ. You don't have to kill it. So the whole dying to self thing, yeah, that happened on the cross, so you can't kill something that's already dead. You can't make something alive that's already fully alive. You're not trying to become more alive to God. You are alive. Consider yourself dead to sin, alive to God. And so now that you're fully alive, and thirdly, you can't defeat an enemy that's already defeated.
Right. Right.
So, the enemy's defeated, and yes, he has to propagate the illusion that there's more going on and get our attention. And so what the Lord wants is our full devotion. He wants our heart. He wants us to fix our hearts on him. And I think that's what I love about when we fix our heart on the Lord. This is heart learning. We're learning the relationship. We're learning his nature. We're learning what he's really like. We're learning to be just like him. And that to me is precious because he's the one who's deciding we're learning this now. It's not me going through a list of, I made a list of all the things I need to fix. It turns out to be, 20 volumes. I'm on volume 2, page 3. I'm checking stuff off. We're not the architects of our salvation. We're free from all that. We're free from being the architects of our own salvation. We're free from being, the director of our self-help development program. We're free from all that. And so the more you think about what we're free from the world, we're free from the world system. And, we're even free from our own hurt and past. And it's just remarkable. The kindness and goodness of God is remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that Jesus defeated the enemy in his own place. Jesus went into hell and wrecked it. When the glory of God came in from heaven, the full weight of glory came in and obliterated the place. So the enemy has no authority because Jesus took it all when he rose from the dead. And so what I love about that is I'm not taking authority over the enemy. I'm just letting him know that I know who God is for me. You have no authority here. I'm letting you know that this is a kingdom body. So, living from that place, we have authority over the enemy.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the joy of it, is just saying, no.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like that. No, I'm not going to see it that way. I want to see it this way. Whatever is right and proper, that's what we think about.
Yeah. That's a lovely list. Whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever
Right.
things.
I know.
It's such a lovely list. And the interesting thing about that is it's so practical. You think, well, I can't just think about that. Of course you can. Because here's the thing is the enemy wants attention. I was speaking to somebody during the break and during this holiday season, and he said, the enemy's doing this and the enemy's doing that. And I said to him, well, that's exactly what it is. He needs your attention, because what you focus on, you give life to. It's like trying to focus on your old nature to fix it. Why would you fix a dead thing? You can't kill what's already dead.
Right.
You can't give life to something that's already fully alive, which is what you in Christ are. You're one with him. And you can't conquer an enemy that's already conquered. And then he said, well, I just want the enemy to pay. I said, with what? He doesn't have anything. What's he going to pay with? Nothingness? That's all he's got. What are you going to, he doesn't pay you with nothingness. So this fixation, it frees us from that. And it frees us to just be with the Lord. It frees us to enjoy him, to relax. And so, Graham, I give you the last word. We're going to wrap. Can you believe our time just flies through these conversations so quickly? We just started.
I don't know. I think for me, it's such a gorgeous way to live. No fear, no worry, ever. I can't remember the last time I worried. It gets to a point where you understand that the peace of God is so compelling. I want to live there. The joy of the Lord is so beautiful. I want to stay there. The love of God is all embracing. I want to live there. So living in the fruit of the Spirit with God is just a gorgeous way to live. So I'm practicing Thanksgiving every day. Good, bad, or ugly, we're thankful. I'm not just thankful for good things. I'm thankful for anything. Something comes against me. Lord, I thank you that you're with me and you never leave me. You never forsake me. So how do you want to tackle this thing? So when you think like that, you're automatically inclusive. That's why we talked years ago. We started talking about 3+ me, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and me. It's that there's always 4 of us in here, and I'm one of them. It's like, how cool is that? I am one with those 3, and they are outrageous in their joy, in their love, in their passion for us. I love that. I trust that absolutely, 1000% trust it. God's nature is gorgeous. Gorgeous. That's why he's changing us from one degree of glory into another. That's our lifestyle. That's our life here. We're training on earth to be able to live in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. That's what he's constantly saying. Graham, you're in heaven. Your heart is in heaven. So we're doing everything from heaven. So,
Yeah.
I love
And it
that.
turns out to be not only an incredible way to live, a way that is a huge blessing to everyone around you, because you become the touch point for heaven, the touch point for goodness. Well, I hope that conversation encouraged you about heart learning versus head learning. Our job is not just to gather knowledge. Our job here is to walk with the Lord, to relationally engage, and to learn directly from Him. What a beautiful, beautiful way to live. And so as we wrap up, I hope you enjoyed this evening. Again, if you've just joined late and you missed the little pitch for Vision 26, we really would love to have you there. We would like as many of you there as possible. We'll be sharing some pretty exciting things. And for those of you who have not signed up for Brilliant Circles, again, encourage you to do that. If you really want to see yourself move in the Lord, maybe you feel like I haven't moved much. I've learned a lot of stuff, learned stuff in my head, but in my heart, I haven't moved. Then to me, that's where the circles and Vision 26 is where a lot of movement will happen. So thanks so much for joining us this evening. We love you guys. Really enjoy hanging out. Sorry it went so quickly. I don't know what happened. Somebody hit the fast forward button on the time button. Something happened, but we loved, and we want to wish you a phenomenally blessed year with the Lord, a relationship with Him, that you move more this year in Jesus than in your whole life before. And that's what we are. We are a group of people living in heaven, in the kingdom. And well, while we're in the world, we are not of it. And aren't you glad about that? So we're free to be free. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bless you. And we will see you next month.
Yes. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.